For my visual arts journey, I chose photography because my sister used to take a lot of photographs when we were growing up, and she was really good. She's sitting over there, by the way. I was always curious about how she did it because no matter how I tried, I could never position the capture a good shot as she. She taught me a few things about how to hold and position the camera, but I wanted to learn more about the photography styles. So I decided to explore 3 styles doing this arts journey, with the topic being a cry for help. The first photograph I took was nature photography. I'm an outdoor ed student and therefore have a love for the environment that can't be explained. During the arts journey, I wanted to take a photograph that sent out a message that not only showed my care and love for the environment, but how the environment needs our help to survive. The photo I ended up taking, I named Darkness. I took this photograph whilst on a hiking field lab. All day we had been experiencing the beauty that is the Australian bush until we came across a scene that completely shocked us. This beautiful green area suddenly became black. We stood in silence as we tried to determine what occurred there, whilst at the same time I was looking for a spot to take a photograph that would catch the devastation, as well as make people want to protect rather than destroy this beautiful environment that we have. I chose my spots and started experimenting with angles and levels. I chose 2 different spots and took photographs at a range of different levels until I produced a photo that I fell in love with. While experimenting with the angles and levels, I learnt that to get a clear photo that captures your chosen intent, you have to take multiple photos. The photograph I ended up taking surprised me because while it captured the message I'd been aiming for, it also captured the greenery that was behind it, that was the area that we had just walked through, and then, showing that this black burnt area used to be green too. For me, this made me feel like the environment was asking for help in the only way it knew how, by showing us that while it can protect itself, it needs help to survive just like the rest of us do. This experience made me realize that although you may plan out how you're going to take a photograph, you'll never really know what's going to happen. One challenge I had with this photo was getting the right angle with the limited amount of time I had to take it. If I had more time, I would have gotten a photograph that didn't have the scenery in the background, making the photo even more devastating. I'm not sure if I would have liked this photo more than the one I did end up taking, but I would have enjoyed the opportunity to find out. The second photograph I took was based around Victorian photography. I loved how this style brings natural environments and human development together. This is the reason I chose this style. I wanted to bring my love for the environment and human interactions together. The photograph I took in this style I named The Long Road Home. The photograph I took in this style I named This photograph was taken during the same hiking trip as Darkness. For this trip, I had been competing in a 24-hour Rogaine competition. The moment this photograph was taken, I had been walking for almost 20 hours, with only 1 break for dinner and 3 hours for sleep in between. I was exhausted and ready to go home. The road you see in this photo is the road that my group were using to get back. We were tired, sore, and hungry, and as the thought of finishing came to mind, I looked up to see this big stretch of road ahead of us. As I got out my camera and took the shot, I decided to lay down on the ground and take some there. As it were, I'm glad I did. The level of the camera made the road look longer than it actually was. Plus, the level and position of the camera makes you think about how, if this photo was real and you were looking at this view, you'd be laying or sitting down. This makes you think about why. Why am I sitting down? Do my feet hurt? If they do, I hope a car comes soon, which is exactly what I was thinking. Like, car, please come around the corner. Taking this photograph made me think about how so many people have to walk a road in pain, either to get clean water or food, or just to see a doctor. Everyone walks a road in life, whether an actual road or figuratively. For me, this photograph represents the idea that everyone needs help to walk that long road, some more than others. A challenge I had with this photograph was actually getting the strength to lay down on the ground and take the shot, but even more when I had to get back up, just because of how much pain I was going through because of the activity I was doing at the time. This showed me that dedication and willpower will get you amazing results that you will not regret. If I could take this photograph again, I would have liked to take it further back along the road, in able to get that distance effect. I would have liked to also have gotten a shot directly in the middle of the road to get the line on the edges of the road even clearer. But how the environment needs our help to survive. The last photograph I took was based around social documentary photography. I found this style quite challenging because I chose to take a photograph that captured that cry for help that people that self-harm often have when they bring a knife to their wrist. I know this feeling because in the first year after I was diagnosed with depression, I was dealing with the fact that I was self-harming, and even though I knew it was wrong, I couldn't stop. The reason I chose to center this photograph on self-harm was because of my history and the want to raise awareness, as well as because a close friend of mine is going through self-harm, and I wanted to do something that made him realize that he's not the only one and he can get through it. All he has to do is ask for help. The photograph I named How Do I Stop This? While planning for this photograph, I kept thinking about how I could get a clear view of the knife while also capturing the sadness on the victim's face. That's when I thought of a mirror. I chose to use a mirror that was in my sister's room because of the lights that are on it. I thought if I turned off the room's lights and just had the mirror lights on, they would not only light up the victim's face, but the background would look dark and gloomy, which is the exact effect you can see in the previous photo. I was debating whether or not to take down my sister's photos on the back wall, but I decided to keep them there as a symbol to show that people do love and care for the victim. This doesn't just go for the victim in the photograph. There are people all over the world that think people don't love them and therefore won't care. I went through the same thing, but people do care. These photographs represent this. This photograph was a challenge to take because of my history with self-harm. Taking this photograph brought back the memories and made me stop and think, do I really want to take this photo? The answer ended up being yes. This photograph isn't only important to me because it shows that plea for help, but because I felt I was taking the last step away from self-harm and moving on with my life. But a bigger reason is because I think photographs like these bring awareness to other people that don't know about it. If I could go back and change this photograph, I wouldn't change anything. But while this photograph is my favorite, if I was going to be a photographer, I'd be a nature photographer. I love nature so much that I just want to keep exploring this style further.